are going to be able to emerge out of the darkness, out of the dark night of the soul. Because really, I know, if you're like me, that your whole life has probably felt like one huge dark night of the soul. There is hope. And the thing is, we just got to keep picking ourselves up. And I know that it doesn't feel easy. It feels really intense. This ride is super, super fucking intense. And the thing is, it's okay that it's intense. We signed up for it to be intense. And I think the biggest thing is that in finding joy and giving yourself permission to have joy. You know, I was laying in bed with my kids reading them this story, and it was a story about understanding bodies and what's on the inside versus what's on the outside. And there was a picture of a person wearing a costume, and it said, you know, the outside of the costume is what other people see. And then it had a drawing of just all these sort of pictures inside the person, and it was saying, all of these experiences are what you feel on the inside that no one else gets to feel. And my son turns to me and says, yeah, Mom, and yours is stress. And my daughter, who's 5, he's 8, and my daughter, who's 5, is like, yeah, Mom, you're always so stressed. It makes us sad. And, you know, as I am saying this, I cry because I realize that I have been so stressed, and I feel like so many of us are so stressed, you know, and we're going to, at least I'm going to these different healing experiences and just putting one foot in front of the other like a soldier. And yet there is this experience that life is so hard, and it, you know, and yet it doesn't have to be. And yet, why do so many of us feel such tremendous suffering? I think that there is so much suffering, and yet there is also, we have this capacity for joy. And so, you know, what I told my son and daughter is, I said, you know, I'm going to make a commitment to not be stressed. And I also thought to myself, you know, there are so many moments that I'm not stressed, that we're enjoying and loving. And yet, because their dad died and my husband died, you know, when they were young and their lives are short, you know, a good portion of their lives have been watching me going through this grieving experience. And so I think that really what it comes down to is that the time to turn over a new page and start a new chapter is here. And it's been here for a long time. It's been calling us. But I think that now more than ever, we need to choose joy. And so for me, choosing joy is really just in the little moments, you know, and still crying as I am while I talk and give this video. But I think it's choosing joy in the little moments and, you know, being okay with the things that aren't okay. I was talking about that in one of my last videos, that it's, you know, embracing the discomfort. And I think that there is so much wisdom in learning to not run away from the discomfort, and to also feel this sense of, you know, listening to Abraham with Esther Hicks and realizing that those rockets of desire that we're shooting out into the universe as we so desperately claw our way towards this feeling of wholeness and of home, of bringing home here. And, you know, the saying that home is where the heart is, that is because, you know, oftentimes in the past I thought, oh, that must mean that wherever I am, wherever my heart is, you know, that's where home is. And yes, that's one way to look at it. But the deeper meaning is that home is where the heart is, meaning like literally it's the heart that's the home. And I don't know why it's so hard to feel like to feel like that's a possibility, to be in that home, to have felt so far away from home. For me, it's realizing that I never felt that my body was mine. I had a psychic do a reading for me, and she said, do you feel like, she was a psychic astrologer, and she said, do you feel like your body isn't yours? And I was like, yeah, I think I do. And I think that, in my case, there was early sexual abuse that I didn't realize until this past year that kept me from feeling like my body could be my home. However, there are so many little ways, even for you, if you haven't been abused, that society tells you that you can't make this your home. And it's painful. It's been a painful, hard fucking ride. But the truth of the matter is that we keep putting one foot in front of the other. And so I think that in sort of this idea of like clawing ourselves towards wholeness, coming back home to home is where the heart is, it is not easy. There are so many people that tap out because, I have family members that have attempted to because it was too rough. And yet here we still are, and wanting to turn over a new leaf. So allowing those rockets of desire that Abraham talks about to not always be in this place where they're over there and we're over here, really giving ourselves permission to allow those things, because all of life, this experience that we've been walking, it's been teaching us all of the things that we don't want, the contrast, so that we can start to find what we really truly do want. And it's there waiting for us. I know it's there because I get these glimpses of how majestic my soul really is and how majestic your soul really is. And even that brings me to tears because it's so beautiful. We are so beautiful. And we're so courageous. And that's beautiful. And so I think we're also so lonely. And that is hard. But there's beauty in the heartbreak, and there's beauty in the loneliness, and allowing the tears to flow, and also allowing the laughter to come in, and knowing that this is a ride that is full of all the colors of the rainbow. And in order to truly embrace ourselves and our true authentic voice, we have to be willing to wade through the mud and to birth this beautiful flower that we're all becoming, the lotus from the mud. In art therapy the other day, we have this little nest with these tiny little birds that I think they're house finches that are just recently hatched, and they just look so pink and soft and raw and fragile. And I was telling my art therapist that is exactly how I feel, because I wrote a post recently on social media of feeling so tired of being this mushy pulp of the chrysalis, dreaming of flying. And so I think it's like these little tiny baby birds that are so precious and so soft, and they are waiting for their time. And I think that the mind wants to judge, like the mind wants to look and see of all the things that are not working out. And that's where we stop ourselves. And so to fall back into this soft place of the heart, and to know and to work on the gratitude practice of all the things that are going for us, and the little by little climbing out of that place of sadness entails finding those moments of grace and those moments of beauty and allowing them to flourish and allowing ourselves to blossom, giving ourselves permission to let the sun dance upon the petals and the bees to come sip from our nectar. And as we unfold and grow, and the little soft pink flesh of our little birdie selves and the soft mushy chrysalis that is in the becoming, we just continue to persevere and to continue to allow and to continue to dream until we really do have those wings and we really can fly. Thanks for joining me here on this journey and tuning in. Blessings, sending love.